After arriving in the Malcosian Empire, Carolina finally meets Prince Edward, the man she's destined to marry for political reasons. Before she even has time to settle into her new life, she's informed that their engagement will be announced immediately, turning every day into a whirlwind of preparations. But amid all the chaos, disaster suddenly strikes. An assassin targets Carolina, leaving her completely frozen in terror. Even as Owen rushes to reassure her that she'll be safe as long as he's by her side, her trembling body refuses to calm down after the horrifying attack. As the knights immediately begin searching for the assassin, Owen stays by Carolina's side, refusing to lower his guard for even a second. He instructs her not to leave the room until the entire headquarters has been secured. When Carolina thanks him, Owen modestly says he's only doing his duty, but then casually reveals that the attackers were likely trying to create political turmoil by targeting her. Confused, Carolina asks what he means, leaving Owen equally surprised that no one has explained the situation to her yet. Before Carolina can even respond, a loud knock echoes through the room. Collet rushes in with urgent news, but before he can finish, Edward pushes straight past him, completely ignoring royal etiquette. His first words aren't about the investigation, they're a frantic, "Are you hurt?" Seeing the usually calm prince lose his composure catches Carolina completely off guard. Even Theodore has to jokingly remind Edward that if he isn't careful, his own strength might end up hurting her instead. Once everyone settles down, they reconstruct the assassination attempt, and Theodore immediately decides to move all of Carolina's lessons inside the palace, where security is far tighter. He then bows his head and takes full responsibility for placing her in danger, leaving Carolina stunned by how seriously the Empire is treating the attack on her life. Caught off guard, Carolina quickly begs Theodore to stop apologizing. When he refuses, she shyly asks for just one thing in return: to catch the person who tried to kill her. Theodore accepts the request without hesitation, promising that the culprit will be brought to justice. Hoping to change the heavy atmosphere, Edward asks Theodore to hand over the letter that arrived that morning. To Carolina's surprise, it's from her father. Theodore apologetically admits he had already read it first to ensure it contained nothing that could affect the political marriage, and Carolina reassures him that she completely understands. Opening the letter, Carolina is immediately moved by her father's heartfelt words. He lovingly asks whether she's adjusting to life in the Empire, admitting that ever since she left, he hasn't been able to stop worrying about her. But the warmth of the letter quickly fades, as he reveals that the Kingdom of Celestia has recently been plagued by a series of disturbing events. The king is confronted with alarming reports. Crops are failing without explanation. Monster attacks are increasing at an unprecedented rate, and before he can even process that news, another report arrives revealing the outbreak of a mysterious plague with no known cause or cure. Even Duke Raymond urges the king to stop ignoring the growing crisis. Realizing the kingdom is facing something far beyond ordinary misfortune, the king orders an immediate investigation, silently wondering what force could have plunged the once peaceful kingdom into such chaos. As Carolina continues reading, her father's letter reveals that even Flora has been struggling behind the scenes. The story shifts back to Celestia, where Flora is secretly panicking as her once extraordinary holy magic continues to weaken. No matter how carefully she casts healing and purification magic, its effects grow weaker while the kingdom's crops keep withering. When the Duke gently suggests that stress from the upcoming saintly trials, or perhaps missing Carolina, might be affecting her, Flora pretends to agree. But the moment she's alone, her pleasant smile disappears. Furious, she admits she can't stand pretending to care about Carolina and vows to uncover the real reason her powers are fading before everything she's built begins to crumble. The letter then returns to its warm tone, as Duke Raymond reassures Carolina not to worry despite the kingdom's growing troubles and promises they'll meet again at the upcoming Founders' Day festival. As the days pass, the long-awaited Founders' Day festival finally arrives. After Carolina's maid finishes preparing her, she's left speechless by her stunning appearance. Just then, Edward and Theodore arrive to escort her to the banquet. The moment Edward sees Carolina, he sincerely calls her beautiful, leaving the two briefly lost in each other's gaze before Theodore awkwardly clears his throat, reminding them it's time to head to the ceremony. Prince Edward Ruby Martinez and Lady Carolina Sanchez made their entrance into the grand banquet together, immediately becoming the center of attention. As nobles watched them pass, whispers spread throughout the hall, wondering why the imperial prince was escorting a Celestian noble. Standing before the imperial throne, they awaited the next arrival as the announcer introduced His Imperial Highness Prince Gilbert Ruby Martinez. The moment Gilbert stepped inside, the hall was filled with admiration, and even Carolina couldn't help but marvel at his breathtaking appearance. Noticing her reaction, Edward playfully asked if she would prefer someone like his older brother, admitting that most ladies admired Gilbert over someone as ordinary and unfriendly as himself. Caught off guard, Carolina sincerely replied that while others might be captivated by appearances, she found Edward's kindness and dependability far more attractive. Her unexpected answer left Edward speechless for a moment before he smiled and quietly remarked that she really was a strange one. The Grand Hall instantly fell silent as His Imperial Majesty Emperor Eric Ruby Martinez and Her Imperial Majesty Empress Vanessa Ruby Martinez made their majestic entrance, prompting every noble to bow in respect and proclaim glory to the great Malcosian Empire. After taking their seats upon the throne, Emperor Eric thanked everyone for attending before summoning Prince Edward and Lady Carolina to stand before him. Once the two had offered their formal greetings, the Emperor finally revealed the true reason behind the banquet. He officially announced the engagement of second Prince Edward Ruby Martinez and Lady Carolina Sanchez, sending waves of shock through the entire hall. As stunned whispers spread among the nobles, Emperor Eric calmly explained that the recent strain between the Malcosian Empire and the Kingdom of Celestia made this union an important step toward restoring their relationship. With that, he declared the occasion a celebration for both nations, leaving the hall buzzing over the unexpected announcement. To Carolina's surprise, the announcement is met not with criticism, but with warm applause and heartfelt congratulations, leaving her quietly relieved. As Emperor Eric raises a toast to the Empire's future, the grand banquet officially begins. Edward lifts his glass and once again asks for Carolina's companionship, and this time, she gladly accepts, sealing the moment with a toast to their everlasting bond. Before long, the newly engaged couple is surrounded by nobles offering their blessings, until a single voice gently interrupts the celebration. It is Prince Gilbert, Edward's older brother. Greeting Carolina with remarkable warmth, he sincerely congratulates the couple, but Edward quickly notices his brother doesn't look well. Gilbert admits that his mysterious illness is only being held back by the Pope's divine power and continues to worsen with each passing day. Refusing to let his condition overshadow the celebration, he forces a smile, offers his blessings once more, and quietly takes his leave, leaving Carolina unable to stop wondering what kind of illness could trouble the Empire's beloved first prince. After the celebration comes to an end, Carolina quietly loses herself in thought until Edward notices and gently checks if she's all right. Before the conversation can continue, Theodore arrives with an unexpected visitor, her father, Duke Raymond. Overjoyed to see him again, Carolina rushes to greet him. Sensing they have much to talk about, Edward and Theodore politely excuse themselves, leaving the father and daughter alone. Watching them leave, Duke Raymond smiles and remarks that Prince Edward is nothing like the frightening rumors suggest. Carolina can't help but agree, proudly describing Edward as kind, considerate, and gentle, before shyly admitting she's truly proud to be his fiancée. The heartfelt reunion is suddenly shattered when Owen bursts into the room, desperately ordering Carolina to get away from her father. To everyone's disbelief, he accuses Duke Raymond of masterminding the assassination attempt. The room instantly falls silent as the captured suspect is brought in to support the claim. But before anyone jumps to conclusions, Carolina calmly asks to examine the man herself. After taking one look at him, she immediately clears her father's name. His appearance identifies him as an Eastgothian, a nation so distant that even the Malcosian Empire has only recently established contact with it, making it impossible for the Duke of Celestia to have hired him. Realizing he had been deceived by a false confession, Owen falls to his knees in shame. Edward apologizes on behalf of the Pyreborn Knights, but Duke Raymond refuses to hold a grudge, understanding that Owen acted solely to protect Carolina. Even as he's escorted away for questioning, Owen can only lower his head and offer Carolina a heartfelt apology. After the incident, Theodore asks to speak with Carolina in private. He points out that the assassination attempt and the poisoning weren't random attacks, but part of a much bigger mystery. When Carolina assumes she's being targeted because she's Edward's fiancée, Theodore shakes his head. To the public, she was only introduced as an envoy from the Kingdom of Celestia. The real reason, he explains, lies at the heart of the Empire's greatest political conflict, the battle over the imperial succession. Malcosia's has two princes. For years, everyone believed the brilliant and charismatic Prince Gilbert would inherit the throne. But everything changed after he developed a rare condition called mana hypersensitivity syndrome. While the illness normally disappears with age, Gilbert's case only grows worse, leaving his body unable to withstand his overwhelming magical power and forcing him to endure constant dizziness and exhaustion. Edward explains that seeing Prince Gilbert at the celebration was a surprise even to him, as his brother is normally confined to the Diamond Palace, the only place where a powerful magical barrier can keep his illness under control. Theodore then reveals how Gilbert's absence from public life gradually divided the empire. As the first prince disappeared from high society, Edward's growing achievements on the battlefield led many nobles to support him as the next crown prince. Yet Edward has never wanted the throne, firmly believing his brother is the rightful heir. Theodore jokingly adds that Edward is more suited to swinging a sword than handling politics, before revealing the empire's biggest secret. Two rival factions have formed around the princes, and some supporters of the first prince have resorted to dirty tactics. Carolina finally realizes the terrifying truth. The rumors branding Edward as the bloodthirsty prince weren't born naturally at all. They were deliberately spread as part of a political smear campaign. Edward then quietly admits that one part of the rumors is true. He really did kill a woman and a child. The shocking confession leaves Carolina speechless until Theodore reveals the full story. During a battle, the pair had been turned into living bombs by enemy forces, leaving Edward with no choice but to strike them down before countless innocent civilians were caught in the explosion. Yet instead of reporting the truth, Edward's political enemies twisted the incident into proof that he mercilessly slaughtered innocent people, giving birth to the infamous title of the bloodthirsty prince. Although Edward still blames himself, Carolina firmly tells him he did nothing wrong, reassuring him that saving countless lives could never be an act of cruelty. Theodore then turns the conversation to Owen, explaining that a royal bodyguard must be completely free of personal attachments. Only someone who values the order above wealth, status, family, even their own life, can be trusted with protecting the imperial family without ever being manipulated. To explain Owen's unwavering loyalty, the story flashes back to his childhood. Born as the Baron's illegitimate son to a maid, Owen grew up enduring relentless abuse from the Baroness, who constantly reminded him that he would never inherit the family name. Even so, he believed his father had taken him in out of genuine kindness. That illusion shattered the day he proudly returned to see him. Instead of welcoming his son home, the Baron coldly revealed the truth. Owen had only been kept alive as a spare heir in case something happened to his legitimate son. Now that he was no longer needed, he intended to kill him with his own hands. Forced to defend himself, Owen barely escaped using his barrier magic, finally realizing that not even his own father had ever loved him. The story then returns to the present, where another knight delivers yet another letter from the Klein family. Without even looking at it, Owen casually tells him to throw it away, making it painfully clear that he severed all ties with his family long ago. The next morning, Carolina quietly reflects on Owen's painful past. After learning that even his own father had once tried to kill him, she finally understands why he was so desperate to protect her. Just then, Khaled approaches and reveals that Owen has refused to resume his duties, blaming himself for everything that happened. Hoping to change his mind, Khaled asks Carolina to give him the unfinished handkerchief she'd been sewing. He explains that, among knights, a handkerchief from the person they protect is a treasured symbol of trust. A finished one expresses gratitude for past service, while an unfinished one carries a different message. It says, "I believe in the person you'll become." Believing Owen has lost the strength to move forward, Khaled hopes Carolina's gift will remind him that someone still has faith in him. Determined to bring Owen back, Carolina visits him in the interrogation room. Consumed by guilt, Owen insists she could never understand someone who had been betrayed by his own family. But Carolina quietly reveals the pain she's carried all her life. Her mother died giving birth to her, and ever since, her sister blamed her for the tragedy, making her believe she never deserved to be loved. She admits that if no one had ever needed her, she might have ended up resenting the world just as he did. Then, placing the unfinished handkerchief in Owen's hands, Carolina asks him to serve her once more. Not out of obligation, but for his own happiness. She promises to stand by him until she can finish embroidering it. Deeply moved by her kindness, Owen rises to one knee and solemnly swears his sword and unwavering loyalty to Lady Carolina, vowing to protect her for the rest of his life. As the episode draws to a close, the story returns to the Kingdom of Celestia, where cracks are beginning to appear beneath Flora's perfect image. Despite Carolina's departure, her holy magic continues to weaken with each passing day, leaving even Flora unable to hide her growing panic. The timing is too precise to ignore. Her powers began fading the very day Carolina left the kingdom. For the first time, she finds herself questioning everything she once believed. But just when it seems the mystery couldn't deepen any further, the scene cuts to a shadowy figure watching the kingdom from afar. The Pope quietly notes that monster attacks are spreading once again, something that should have been impossible under the saint's protection. A faint smile crosses his face as he realizes the balance has finally begun to shift, and wonders how best to turn this unexpected change to his own advantage.